Hello friends, so we are back with another incentive of process control, and as you can see on the screen it is process control and operational constraints. So what do we exactly mean by operational constraints? We will take two examples to convey this point, and we will take only one parameter in both the cases, and that parameter is level. Of course, whatsoever you will understand is applicable for other parameters also, like pressure or temperature or concentration or flow rate. But just to keep it short and simple, we will be focusing only on level in this introductory session to convey. What you see is a buffer tank. It is sometimes called open vat. Why it is called buffer? Because you see you have some inflow which is totally uncontrolled. This inflow is coming from stage 1 and the output is going to stage 2. In between stage 1 and stage 2, we have this tank which is primarily to take care of the mismatch of the flow between the output of first stage to the input of second stage. I cannot connect this pipe directly to this input because this may be stopping in between, the flow may be interrupting, the flow may become fast, the flow may become slow as compared to what is required in the second stage. And we do have some control at the outlet. That is, the flow to the second stage can be controlled to some extent. To some extent means we have to take into account that this vat, which is an open vat or a buffer tank, it should neither overflow nor it should run dry. Means overflowing means what? Suppose the inflow is high and the outflow is low, where I can increase to some extent, but I do not increase it, then what will happen? This level will go on moving up and up and up and ultimately overflow from here, resulting in loss of this liquid. This liquid is precious liquid. It can be milk, it can be some solution containing chemicals, so on and so forth. So don't want any loss on account of overflow. At the same time, what if I do not regulate it when I can to maintain the level? Then suppose for a few minutes this supply is off and this level is not appropriate. It's already near the bottom. In that case, it will very quickly drain out and the output of this buffer tank, which is the input of the second stage, will dry. I don't want to dry my stage 2 also. I think now it is very much clear that the whole idea of having this buffer tank is that this level may go up, this level may go down, and the moment this level is going up, I am slightly increasing the inflow to the second stage, and when the level is going down, I am slightly reducing the inflow to the second stage so that it may not totally dry out, so that in case the inflow is more, this should not become a case of overflow. So I'm regulating it over here, I'm controlling it over here so as to match the two flows, but I have to take care that this level should neither go beyond, let us say, 20% to avoid the risk of dry out, nor should it go more than 80% to avoid the overflow. And in both the cases, what will happen is loss of material, disruption of the process in stage 2, which ultimately means that your product is going to get spoiled. So let's just revise it once again, because this is your first exposure to the operational constraint. The operational constraint means that the level has to be maintained something between maximum of 80, minimum of 20, better it be somewhere around 50%, because it should move either way, on the upper side or on the lower side, without causing any disruption, without causing any overflow, without causing any dry out to the next stage. As you can see, I'm revising. You can read it out. The buffer tank is to contain the mismatch of the flows. Inflow from the top is taken to be totally uncontrolled. Outflow is somewhat controllable. So one of the two has to be controllable. In this case, we have taken the output which is controllable. And if it is not controlled, it's repeating for the third time, it will result into wastage either by overflow or by the drying out. So this is one very simple example you have seen. We will go to slightly more ticklish issue in the next slide when you're going to control the level once again, but that level is level of a boiler. So you will get to know a little bit of the functioning of boiler also in the second slide. So friends, as you can see in this diagram, again you have a boiler. What happens in a boiler is that you burn some fuel through a burner. You have, in this case, two drums. The lower one is called mud drum because it contains a lot of residue, the dirty water, because water is coming is dissolved, having a lot of fluids, a lot of solids in it. And then you have a steam drum. Why it is called steam drum? Because here the steam is getting collected and this steam is going out from the pipe. In this case again, we have to see that the best is we maintain a level of around 50% or 60% in this steam drum. Why? See, these are the tubes. This is called the riser tube because the water is moving up, and this is called the downcomer tube. The water is coming down from here, it's getting circulated over here. Some feed water, that is the cold water, which is again demineralized water, we call it DM water, it's going to the mud drum. From there it is moving up, and while it is moving up, you see it's getting heated by this burner. Of course, these are the vertical tubes. Even the risers or the downcomers are the vertical tubes which are getting heated. This heat, they are, it's a kind of heat exchanger, as we have discussed in previous slides, also previous sessions. So this the transfer of energy takes place from burner. You're burning something, maybe you're burning coal, maybe you're burning some FO, furnace oil, and so on and so forth, or even high speed diesel in some cases. So all the flue gases, that is the burnt up gases, they go up the exhaust stack, what you call it as chimney. So what we see over here is that these, you know, the water over here is flowing through these pipes, and these pipes should never run dry. In case they run dry, in case the level gets down to this point, these pipes will become overheated because of the hot flue gases coming from the burner, and they may bend and they may get spoiled. And when the cold water again moves up suddenly, they can be cracking or they can burst. So in any case, they should never run dry. This is the lower limit for the drum steam drum level. Similarly, we cannot afford this water to go up and up and up. The level becomes more than 100%. In that case, instead of steam going to the pipe, you will have some water going to the next stage. Water may be containing number of dissolved solids or the particles which are not required. So we don't want this steam drum to have higher level so as to contaminate the steam with water. and the dissolved solids which are contained in the water. And at the same time, we don't want this level to go down, because in that case these tubes, they will get damaged. And so we have the level transmitter. LT stands for level transmitter, and this is giving some signal, which you call it as 4 to 20 milliampere. We will not discuss what exactly this 4 to 20 milliampere is. And we have a level controller which will decide that whether I should open a valve a little or I should close a valve a little. If the level is falling down, we should open a valve a little, and in case this level is going up, we should close this valve a little, so as to maintain this level at around 50%. So this condition, you see, it's an automatic control. This is the automatic control of a process. This is controlled process. And here the reason the we have incentive of controlling this process is to fulfill the operational constraints. And in this case, the parameter taken, or the variable taken is level, and we are maintaining a band within which this level is to be maintained. This is the operational constraint. So friends, as we have seen earlier in case of safety, earlier in case of environmental regulations, this is another incentive of having a controlled process where we have the operational constraints to be fulfilled. So let's revise it, that the boiler level of the overflow will contaminate the steam with water. It's containing some undesirable dissolved solids, and at the same time the under level, the water level goes down, will damage the tubes, and we have to control this entire process through LIC. As you can see, you have this thing called LIC's level indicating controller. So this is the intelligent controller which is going to decide, which controls this valve and maintains the level at the desired point, which is something around 50% or 60% of the steam drum as it may be designed for. So friends, now I think you are totally clear about what exactly is meaning of operational constraints, why they are required and how they can be fulfilled, and what will happen in case they are not fulfilled. And this is one big incentive of having a controlled process. In case you have any queries regarding this process control and operational constraints, you can contact me over WhatsApp, or through Zoom sessions, or through telephonic talk, or face to face interaction, as the case may be. I thank you for being with me, and I wish you a safe stay and enjoy learning. Bye bye.